الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله محمد وآله الطاهرين. We're on lesson 4 today, and we have explained some very important aspects of this science. Now, when it comes to the founding of this science and why was this particular science founded, we know that the era of legislation, or Asr al-Tashri', which was during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and during the time of the Imams, we had direct contact, communication with the Ma'sumeen, peace be upon them, which did not make any need for any type of independent analysis of things when we were able to directly communicate with the Imams. And that's why there was no need for there to be such a science called Usul al-Fiqh, because the Imams were there, peace be upon them. They would inform their followers of what was halal, what was haram, etc., etc. It was during the major occultation, or al-Ghayb al-Kubra, of our 12th Imam, may Allah hasten in his appearance, where the Muslim Ummah was given the command, the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam were given the command that they now need to deduce things or understand things based on how they are going to be dealing with the scenarios given to them. In some times, as far as the aspects of our Sharia are concerned, we need to deal with texts. And a text, without the person who had delivered that particular statement being there, we need to deal with the text individually, independently, on its own. Sometimes the text is in detail, sometimes the text is general, mujmal, sometimes the text can carry different connotations. So, what does the jurist do? Does the jurist take the apparent understanding, the apparent meaning, or the hamla, the understanding of that particular text? Is it taken in its outside apparent meaning, or are we able to interpret things in a different way? So, when we look at the religious text and we understand that a religious text that doesn't carry any other meanings or is explicit is pretty straightforward, and we're able to deal with that on its own. But if it isn't explicit and it does carry another meaning, then what meaning do we take? Do we take the apparent meaning, or are we able to take another implicit meaning, or a hidden meaning, or even maybe to say a far-fetched meaning? What do we take from any of this? There is an example in the text given to you that you're able to look at and understand what it is that we are referring to here, especially in the sense of what it is that we call general, and what it is that we refer to as trying to take the apparent meaning. If the faqih, if the jurist discovers the validity of whatever it is that they are referring to, being the explicit or being the apparent meaning, then of course they are to deal with that. What happens if the faqih, when discovering the apparent meaning or looking at the text, still has doubt as to whether the shari' or the lawgiver, a shari', or he who's giving the law, comes from sharia or shar', and it is in reference to that lawgiver approving or disapproving of something. If the faqih, if the jurist doubts that the lawgiver or the shari' approves of the outcome of this particular research that the jurist went through in looking at the apparent understanding, apparent meaning of the text, and trying to know whether or not it is valid, what happens in this particular scenario? Of course, this is what Usul al-Fiqh does. Usul al-Fiqh gives us the understanding of what to do in certain situations. Is the apparent meaning hujjah? Is it valid? Can the faqih take the apparent meaning or not? Sometimes it might occur that the faqih does not find a particular subject or a particular shari'i ruling. What happens in this case? In this case, the faqih in Usul al-Fiqh turns to al-wazifa al-amaliyya, or the procedural duty, where there is a procedure that the faqih goes through informing general principles, general usul, and from that deducing a fatwa. Whatever the case may be, the jurist, the faqih, needs a methodology, needs key elements or principles or instruments, whatever you want to use it, needs them in order to extract, in order to deduce a shari'i ruling. These key elements, these principles, these instruments are of course in reference or studied in Usul al-Fiqh. These issues are all in reference to the general aspects of Usul al-Fiqh, and they deal with all kinds of chapters, all kinds of fiqh rulings, all chapters in jurisprudence. And what we learn in Usul al-Fiqh is how to master these principles, how to gain access to these principles and be qualified enough to deal with them, so much so that we are able to extract a shari'i ruling. Of course, this needs many years of perseverance, many years of expertise and qualification, studying under an authoritative figure in order to master the procedure of deduction and, of course, accelerate in that aspect. This is the benefit of Usul al-Fiqh. This is the purpose of Usul al-Fiqh, and this is why we need to study Usul al-Fiqh, keeping in mind that Usul al-Fiqh was in no need when we had the Imams, peace be upon them, but it only came into needs with the Ghaib al-Kubra, with the major occultation of our 12th Imam. May Allah hasten in his appearance. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.